Okay, now that I have my assembly ready, I want to do a presentation view of it. Alright, so we want to put this on a drawing sheet and make it look really nice. So I need to take this assembly and do an exploded view is what it's called of it. Okay, so I already have this open. If you don't have your assembly open, it's okay. You don't have to have the assembly open to do this if you're just starting from brand new. So just open it up, click new. But if you are already in your Inventor and you're ready to start something new, you click up here on the large eye and you go down to new and you get that same window. Right? At this point, I'm ready to do a presentation. It says create an exploded projection of an assembly. Standard IPN. So I'm going to double click on that. Again, click and create. Okay, now, just like I talked about in previous videos, usually the first thing you're going to do is the first thing on the left. Of course, this is the only thing possible, so we're going to go ahead and click on the create view. Right, because I have an assembly open, it automatically puts that assembly into my file. If you don't have one open, it's not a problem. You're just going to browse. You click on the little magnifying glass. I guess it looks like a magnifying glass. And I'm going to go browse and find it. Right, so this happens to be the last file that I had pulled an assembly from. So that's why it's up here. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the R drive. If you want to follow along, you've probably already saved those files into your own H drive. So go ahead and go to it. If you didn't save all these, then you can go to the R drive and go ahead and pull out the assembly. So I would go to the R drive and go find that assembly in that case. So go find your assembly if you don't already have it. Okay, so I have an assembly and it's in here, and you would have clicked open, and it would have put it in here as the file. All right, we're wanting to do manual, and we're just kind of going with the basics right now. So yes, there are some different options and things like that, but you really won't use it in this class. We're going to do manual because automatic really never makes it look that good. All right, so then we're going to click OK. And so now my cube is in here in the presentation view. I'm going to make it a little smaller. Now for this exploded view, you always want one thing kind of in the middle and then the other things outside of it. Like I said before, I was going to make my blue one the centerpiece, or I guess I could even make that orange one the centerpiece. You need to decide what you want to be as your centerpiece. Okay, so looking around at this, let's go ahead and go with the orange piece for this one as my piece that I'm going to make my centerpiece. Okay. It doesn't have to be the same one that you picked to be your first one that dropped in, but it is nice if it is. All right, so then, just like before, we have Create View. Next thing says Tweak Components. Okay, so whenever I tweak the components, you really don't want to end up with more than one piece at a time. So this is how I do it. I click Components first, and I pick the component I want. So since this orange piece is going to my middle, I'm going to go ahead and pick my blue piece as the first one to come out. When you pull pieces apart, you don't want to go through another piece. If you're noticing that you're pulling a piece out and it's going through another piece, undo that and start it over. Because later I'm going to show you how to animate it, and it's going to put the puzzle pieces back together for you. And it looks really neat. But if you have a piece going through another piece, it really doesn't look so cool. So you want to kind of watch out for that. All right, so I've picked the component I want. Now I need to get the coordinates on it. So anywhere on this piece, I'm going to click. Okay, so I click on here, and notice now I have my X, Y, and Z axis on it. Okay. Now I want to pull this out going straight back. If I pull it going the x-axis, it's going to go through these pieces. Again, you don't want to do that. If I go up, it would go through pieces. So I have to go on the y-axis first. So I'm going to click over here, Y, and I'm ready to pull that piece out. I do not want to grab it on top of the piece because sometimes then it's going to grab other pieces and you don't want to pull more than one piece at a time. Also, when I pull it out, I do want to display the trails, so I'm going to leave that clicked. I don't, later on, whenever you have a large number of pieces, you really don't want to leave that checked because then there's so many lines on it. But for this one, it looks nice like that. All right, so I'm going to pull it out. Right, here's the Y. And I'm going to go out here anywhere in the gray space. I'm going to left click, I'm going to hold it down, and I'm going to pull it until I can see the full piece and nothing is obstructing it. Right, I would also like to maybe go down a little bit so that way it's not going to be in the way of this green one. So that is going to be the Z-axis. I click on the Z. Again, over here in the gray, I'm going to click and I'm going to drag it down a little bit. And I can change this around later, and I'll show you how to do that. I'm ready to pull out another piece. So I'm going to click Clear. If I don't click Clear, it's going to end up pulling this piece as well as the other one, and I don't want to do that. All right, so I'm going to click Component again and pick the black one. Direction, I need to get the coordinates on it so I can see which direction is what. And I'm going to, actually I'm going to click Clear, click my component again, my direction. I'm going to see if I can get these to where I can maybe see them a little bit better. Right now they're kind of hiding the way that I've got it. I can kind of see those better now. All right, so I would like to pull this piece straight out. So that way it's not going through anything. So I'm going to click on the Z. It's already clicked. Out here in the gray, I'm going to left click and drag. Notice I'm keeping these pretty close to the center because when I put it onto a drawing sheet, I want it to be compact. I want to see all the pieces, but I want it to be kind of compact so that way it looks nice. Again, clear. I'm going to go ahead and pull out this green piece next. No really reason, I just want to do it next. So I clicked Clear and I click Components, pick the green one, Direction, put those coordinates on it, and I'd like to go ahead and just pull it straight out on the Y. And click Y. Over here in the gray area, I left click and drag. Notice I'm going to have to move this blue one again, but I'll show you that in just a minute. I'm going to go ahead and click Clear, Component, the purple one, Direction, click on it so I can see these coordinates. On this one, I'm going to go straight out this way, so I'm going to click the X, and I'm going to drag it. So it looks pretty good. I actually might want to bring this down slightly. So click the Y, bring it down slightly. So obviously this blue piece needs to also go down a little bit. I'm going to click Close. So now to move these things around, if I hover over the lines, kind of like hover over your lines, where you can kind of see that a green dot appears. Okay, each time a green dot appears. So I want to move this down a little bit more. So go ahead and move it on down. I can also grab this and move it kind of in if I wanted as well. So that way I can see all the trails. Notice it's nice and compact. I may have done it a little different so that I could see this full purple piece, but you get the point on how you would bring it so that you can see it a little bit better. And I can kind of like turn it around and decide if I like maybe a different view better. Actually, I'm pretty good with this one. Okay, like I said, nice and compact. Now, when it's time to save this, okay, I need to make sure that that's not my home view. I was afraid of that. So I'm going to bring this to the way I liked it. I'm going to right click. I'm going to set my current view as home. And I'm going to fit it to view. So that way when I hit home and whenever I bring it open, it's going to look like this. So I'm going to go ahead and save it. I'm going to say save as. I'm going to find it. I'm going to go ahead and put that assembly. I'm going to go ahead and click it into Mrs. Krumsick's. And I'm just going to drop it in here with it. So this is not an assembly though. This is an IPN. I'm going to call it Puzzle Cube Exploded View. All right, so Puzzle Cube Exploded View. And I'm going to click Save. Notice that I stuck it in the same folder that I had pulled the assembly out of. And I also named it something besides Presentation 1. And click OK. All right, now I can have a little bit of fun with this. Make sure that you leave that alone where it looks like the way you want it. Whenever you play with it and have fun, save it as something else. All right, don't save it as your exploded view. But let's watch this now. We click Animate, and we click Play. And we watch the video of it going together. Notice it's kind of slow. So I would like to make it a little bit faster. Go ahead and wait till that finishes. I'm going to reset this, and let's go ahead and change this to 5. Repetitions is the number of times it happens. I don't really need it to go together any more than one time. Click Apply and Play. Notice this goes a lot faster. Reset that. If I wanted to video this so that I could save it or put it into my portfolio, you can. This button here, the video is really choppy. It doesn't look good. So you're going to want to instead pull open your Fastone Capture, and because I'm using Fastone Capture to do this video, I can't show it to you, but you go out here and open up Fastone Capture. You would open it up, and then there's like a little movie reel looking thing. You click on it, and it tells you step by step exactly how to do it, where you can do a box around it so that you can watch it. All right, another thing that's kind of fun is, say I would like one of these pieces to like rotate. Right, so I go back to Tweak Component, and say I like this purple piece to rotate. So I'm going to say Component, this direction. I get those coordinates on there, and I'd like it to rotate. Let's say maybe 360 degrees. I'll go ahead and apply that. So now this piece is going to rotate as well. Close that. Go ahead and go back to Animate. Notice it's rotating in the axis that I had chosen. Now, say I don't want it to rotate where it did. Okay, so notice as it rotates first and then it goes in. Maybe I want it to rotate in a different area. And click Reset. Notice this little button here. Every time you see a button like that, it means there's something else you can do. Okay, so what's behind that curtain? I click on it. And notice on the purple, I have a tweak here. Maybe I want it to go in and then rotate. It probably wouldn't look very good, but you get the point. So I could click on purple, and I could move it down. Okay. Maybe I want it to tweak after it moves a little bit. I want it to rotate. So that would work. I'm going to click Apply I'm going to click play. So it rotated in a different spot. Now you can play with this as much as you want. Make trails that are like doing rotations and then moving, and it can go like all over the screen. Lots of fun stuff. And then make a video of it just for the fun of it. But don't save it that way. Or if you save it, don't save it over your nice clean exploded view, because that nice clean exploded view is going to be used on a drawing sheet. Okay, so have fun with it. Show me what you end up with.